everyone. This is Dr. Gayle-Carson, your host for Women in Business, a show that celebrates women and their accomplishments as entrepreneurs or senior managers. As a woman business owner for over 5 decades, I take great pride in bringing these ideas to you. My guest today is Lori Laub. She's the co-founder of Yiftee. She's held executive management positions as Vice President of Customer Care for Great Plains Software, Intuit Corporation, and Vantiv Corporation. General Manager, Entry Business Unit for Microsoft Great Plains Software, VP of Support Services at Ziff Davis Publishing, and was Chief Information Officer and Vice President of Information Services at Remedy Corporation. She was also Principal and Founder of Excellence by Design, a consulting firm specializing in customer and partner relationships and employee retention. She's the co-author of Delivering World-Class Technical Support, has been a featured speaker at many prominent industry events, authored numerous articles for trade publications, and has held board positions for a variety of industry organizations. Welcome, Lori. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. I was so excited. I have to tell you, though, I was so excited because I just found your ad or something about it on I don't know what I was doing. I was doing something on the computer, and something came up that said Yiftee on it. And I just said, my gosh, I know who that is. And I was just so surprised. So I can tell you that your message is getting out. I can tell you that for sure.
I'm thrilled to hear that. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, tell us a little bit about what Yiftee is, what it does, and why we should pay attention to it.
Sure. So Yiftee is a great way for people, corporations, anyone who wants to send a gift to another person to be able to do it easily from any internet-connected device. So you can do it from your computer, you can do it from your tablet, you can do it from your smartphone while you're waiting for your son or daughter to come out of soccer practice or waiting for a lunch date to show up. You simply go in, you decide where you'd like to send the gift. So I have a friend who lives in Charleston, North Carolina. I want to send her a gift. It's going to be her birthday, and I can go in, search for somewhere in Charleston, pick up you decide where I want to send it. There are a number of local and national and online brands that I can pick from. I choose the gift I want to send. I decide how much I want to send her. I write her a little message. I pay for it with whatever credit card I happen to have in my pocket. I decide how I want to send it to her. My choices are email, text, and or Facebook post, any combination thereof. I send it. She gets it pretty much instantaneously. And when she has time, she can go by the merchant that I sent it to her at and pick up her gift.
Wow, that's unbelievable. What gave you the idea to start this?
Well, we actually started looking at this a number of years ago when we noticed that Groupon was really doing some great stuff. We valued it as consumers because we like the discounts. We loved the fact that it was kind of mobilizing local merchants to get on the internet, to realize that the power of the internet was not just for big stores; it was for local stores as well. And we wanted to figure out how we could do this in a way that really helped local merchants without requiring them to do such so much discounting going on.
Well, now you are online, and we are a global show. So does this mean anyone anywhere can take advantage of your service?
Anyone in the U.S. Right now we are U.S. based, but anyone in the U.S. can send a gift to anyone else in the U.S. right now.
Oh, that's super. And then how do you get your, how should we say, your merchants or your people who are involved with this? I mean, do they all want to work with you, or how do you get your clients?
Yeah, it's really great for merchants. There is no cost for a merchant to participate. If they already accept MasterCard, they already have all the technology in place. They don't need to do anything to their point of sale systems or anything like that. As I mentioned before, there's no discounting required on their behalf. If the sign-up process is very easy for them to do. They simply go to our website and they answer about 6 questions, and we will have them up and on our site within 1 business day.
Wow. Well, now, what would you consider, because you had quite a resume there. So what would you consider your greatest professional success?
So that's a really great question. I would actually have to say it's the people that I had a chance to work with. I think that organizations are made from a lot of different components, but I think one of the most important of them are the people that you work with, and trying to figure out and work with them to find the best in them, find what they're really good at, and let them really excel at whatever it is that they're good at. And so, one of my experiences that comes to mind is many, many years ago at the company Great Plains Software that you listened to, or that you mentioned. I was looking for someone to be a part-time receptionist. We have just expanded some of our hours, and we needed a part-time receptionist. We were looking for a college student to come in and just kind of do this because it was just getting started. We hired someone who eventually went on to be an EVP at Microsoft. And
wow. That's quite a promotion right there.
Isn't it? And so you just never know. You never know.
Well, that's true. And I think people need to really appreciate exactly what others can contribute. I was just this weekend at a CEO retreat, and it was interesting, even though everybody was basically in the same industry from different organizations, still they all came at it from a different point of view. And it's very interesting to see how other people think, how they solve issues, the things that are important to them, the things that are important to their constituents, and so forth. So I think that brings me to a question that is very important with what you do, and that is, in this digital mobile world, how important is one-on-one, face-to-face business interactions and relationships to your success, because you're doing everything online?
Well, they're critical. So we do a lot online. We rely heavily on, email communications, things like what we're doing right now, getting the word out in every possible way we can. But the reality is that when we're building relationships, there's nothing really replaces that one-on-one time. And you may not need to do it as often, or you may be able to do it faster because of all the technology that's involved. But the one-to-one relationships are still very, very critical.
And so I'm sure, even though, you had all of this background, there were some things that probably were stumbling blocks along the way. So what are some of the entrepreneurial challenges that you faced?
Sometimes it's not knowing what you don't know. As you're getting started, even though you have all this experience that you and your partners bring, generally you're working on something that's new and maybe has never been done before by anyone. And so you don't even know exactly what questions to ask. And it's a matter of trial and error. You're trying to be smart about it. You're trying to work as efficiently as you can, and as intellectually as you can. But at the same time, if you're doing something new, you just really have to try different things.
Well, it's interesting. When I was 21, I was in business for the first time, and I didn't have any business courses. I just had a dream. And I really wasn't a threat to anybody at that point. I mean, I was in business for 2 weeks when I got a cease and desist letter from a very powerful organization in my industry in the same town. And I just didn't even know what a cease and desist order was. I didn't even have an attorney. So I had to go hire one. And we finally figured it out to a little bit of expense and so forth. But that was something that just came out of the blue. I had never even heard of anything like that. So I think that no matter how smart you are or how experienced you are, there's just always something that comes out of left field that you don't expect. And you can't feel like it's just against you. You just have to say, well, this is the price of doing business, and I have to learn how to deal with it. So would you say, what kind of tips would you have for entrepreneurs just getting started?
So I would say that you need to have passion for it, a long-term passion. You need to be able to be persistent. You have to, I would suggest that you find really great partners, and those would be the partners that you co-found the company with, the employees that you bring on, to be part of the company. the business partners that you work with, the customers that you work with. And you just have to, you can't get discouraged. You have to be in it for the long haul, and you just have to keep realizing that, creativity and working with other great people, in not giving up, you can generally get around all of these things. And eventually you move forward, sometimes quicker than others. Sometimes it feels like it's one step forward, two steps backwards, but it's forward progress.
Well, passion is a word that I use a lot. And passion seems to be a word that women in business use a lot. I don't always hear men talking about having a passion. I think they enjoy what they do. I think they have an idea. I'm not saying they're not passionate about it, but it's something that I hear women use all the time. Yeah, that there's a passion for what they do. And do you think that has a big impact on being successful, or do you think that's just a female trait?
I actually think it has a big impact on being successful. It's hard to imagine being able to be persistent day after day after day after day if you don't have some passion for what you're doing. So that's kind of...
Well, I agree with you. I agree with you. It's just interesting to me that I hear more women talk about it than men. Well, now you're in the business of e-gifting. So what's the future of that? And how do you deal with, for example, a competitor like Amazon that seems to be everywhere doing everything? I mean, how do you differentiate yourself?
That's a great question. So the business of e-gifting is at $110 billion. It's projected to be $138 billion in 2015, and it's changing. So Amazon has done an amazing and remarkable job of figuring out how to do this and has led the way, as have some other amazing companies. But what we're really all about is being able to bring that capability to entities, businesses who don't have that huge IT infrastructure behind them. And so that's where I think a big part of where e-gifting is going, is where now I, as a consumer, don't have to go to one entity like an Amazon or someone like that. I can send a gift to my local coffee shop, or to my friend's local coffee shop, or to my niece's favorite toy store, or whatever, something that's on the corner in my neighborhood. I have an ability through Yiftee to be able to get my money back, which is different than most e-gifting opportunities or most gifting opportunities. And because of the digital nature of it, there's also a reminder capability. So if I send you a gift, you get the gift, and you'll have, in our case, 90 days to go pick up that gift. You can go by and figure out, what you'd like to get. So let's just say that I sent you a gift for a coffee somewhere. And what I didn't realize is that you don't drink caffeine. Caffeine is not something that you use. And so maybe I gave you the wrong gift. But in the Yiftee capability, I have the opportunity as a gift giver to say that the gift is exchangeable and or donatable to charity. So when you get it, you could use it at the coffee shop I sent it to you at. You could say, gosh, I'm just not drinking coffee these days. I'd like to exchange it within the Yiftee network and be able to give it to use it over at this great little lunch counter that I like to go to instead. Or you could donate it to charity. And at the end of the 90-day period, if there's any value left on the gift that you haven't either used or donated, that amount comes back to me as the gift giver. So as a gift giver, I'm much more inclined to be more generous, because if I know you're going to use the gift, it's not just going to be a card that gets thrown in my sock drawer or your sock drawer somewhere and forgotten about. It makes me more inclined to want to be more generous about the kind of gift that I give. And the other thing I love about it, or consumers seem to love about it, is the ability to, give the gifts at the local coffee shop. So even though I haven't ever been to your location, I can go online and send a gift to something that might be very personal to you, even though I've never, been able to visit you in person.
Isn't that interesting? It's funny that you should say that, because I'm probably the only person in the world that you'll meet that has never even tasted coffee. And it's so funny. So many people say, well, let's